Good afternoon and welcome to Tales of a Survivor, a talk show that highlights individuals that have overcome abuse and the steps that they've taken to get their life back. The purpose of this show is to bring not only awareness but empower those that are living in abuse in silence. We hope that you can mirror yourself in some of the stories that we'll be sharing and find the strength from within to say no more. I am worthy of a lot more. The format has changed, and now my co-host, Lisandra Velasquez, will be taking you to the gym where she found the strength as a survivor of domestic violence and became a 3-time Golden Glove champion. On our last episode, we met Anna. Anna, who had a rough childhood into her teenage years and now into as an adult. With today, we are continuing that story with Anna. And joining her as well will be Peter, her husband, that has along the side with her experienced many things that they have. So let's welcome back Anna. Hi Anna, how are you again?
I'm well, thank you.
Hi Peter, ¿cómo estás?
Estoy bien.
Okay. Now Anna, when we left on the last show, we talked about when you was in Puerto Rico, when you found out you was pregnant. Now, let's take it back from there. Now, you find out you had your first child, which was a girl.
Yes.
Okay? So take me back to that time.
Because of the domestic violence I was experienced with her father, and his drug use, he ended up committing suicide.
Oh.
He hung himself. I was about 6 months pregnant. The stress of finding out that he committed suicide drove me to give birth early. My daughter was born 4 pounds 2 ounces premature in the NUC unit in Puerto Rico. It was another blow into what it was, another bad experience in my life. So it felt like bad break after bad break after bad break.
Like you couldn't get a break.
I couldn't find any type of happiness. I soon became very depressed after I had my daughter, but I knew that I had to try to overcome that, especially her being a preemie. And
she needed you.
She needed me. So after several years in Puerto Rico, I stood by myself. I tried to get work in different places. It's very hard if you don't have a car, if you don't have a hand to help you. At the end, when my daughter was about 2.5 years old, 3 years old, we came back to the States. I found my biological mother. I started living with her for, a short period of time.
What drove you, let me interrupt, what drove you to move back with her? After now, you're, 17 years old.
Yeah.
Now you know right from wrong. You know what she did. You know what made you go back to her? Was it a way for you to give her a second chance? Was it because you didn't have nowhere else to go? What drove you, once you saw your mother, I know you had to have a mix of emotions about a lot of things that went on that went through your head, and you was going through a hard time, knowing that the father of your daughter killed himself. So take me.
When I came back to the States, I was about 20 years old. It had a lot to do with both necessity and maybe wanting to make amends with my mother, forgive her, because I felt like forgiving her maybe will make me a better mother to my child.
And you was right.
And I came, I forgave her. I lived with her. I found a job. I started working. Um, I used to leave my daughter with my mother while I went to work. My mother was being neglectful with my daughter. At that time, I met another man. We briefly dated. I got pregnant really quick. It wasn't a planned pregnancy, and I had my son. At this time, my daughter almost set the apartment on fire because my mother and her heroin addict, she was in the bathroom shooting up, and she left the stove on, and my daughter uh, put the fire up at the frying pan and set the whole kitchen on fire. My daughter almost died. Me and
Oh
my
my
mother
God.
had gotten into a verbal altercation. I grabbed my daughter and I told her, "You're not gonna do to her what you did to me."
Good for you. I'm
And I
glad.
took my daughter, I left everything, and I went to a shelter. At this point, I spent the rest of my pregnancy in the shelter alone with my daughter.
Now the guy that you became pregnant with your son, was he ever in the picture?
Yes, he's been a good father to my son, even if me and him had a brief relationship. He never denied my son. He always was there for as a father, financially supporting my child.
Salute to that.
So I went into the shelter system when my son was born. When my son was about 9 months old, I got my apartment from
Good.
Section 8. Thank God. It was about the year 2000. After that, I spent a couple of years alone, trying to, be a mom.
Find yourself as well.
And then a couple of years later, I had friends. We were hanging out one summer, and there was this guy, and they introduced me to him. He was from a different race. I'm not gonna say the race.
No.
And he swept me off my feet. He was charming. He took me out. He was exotic. We had a good time. He helped me like just free myself. I was drinking. I was smoking marijuana. I just became a different person. I was like, I didn't get to enjoy my teenage years. I'm young. I want to party. And I started being a little bit neglectful to my children. I used to
did.
leave them with my friend, and I used to go hang out. I'm not going to lie, I fell in love. And, as everything goes, after a year of me and him dating, reality set in. Okay, I have to be a mom. I have to be on point. I started, taking my daughter to school, doing what I have to do.
Taking charge again.
Taking charge of my life. I felt, one of my friends told me, listen, you have to, try to be more of a mom to your kids, So I realized that I was making kind of similar mistakes what my mom was doing. And it made me like stop at my footsteps and made me do what I had to do for my kids. This guy didn't live with me. He lived with his parents. He would come and stay over. He liked to drink. He liked to party. And one day, how the abuse started was about 1 year later.
I'm sorry. Let me just cut you there. I really have to do something because I want to make sure. Could you fix your hoodie? Because I don't want your tats to show. There you go. Thank you. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
He basically came home one night really drunk. He demanded something from me, and I told him no. I got upset. I threw him out, and he smacked the life out of me. That was the first time he put his hands on me. I flew across the bed. He jumped on me and started punching me in my face. I looked like an alien the next day. My face was so swollen.
But you told him to get out after that. Did he
Yes.
get out, or did you take him back?
He did leave. I guess he got scared of his own actions. He did leave that night. Came back the next day remorseful, crying. He's sorry. He didn't mean to hurt me. And because I was in love, he gave me attention. He used to financially support me. I forgave him. It took about another 2 months to pass by.
The cycle of the honeymoon cycle.
The honeymoon cycle, everything was good. 2 months passed by, and this time wasn't a smack. It was a punch dead in my face, in front of other people, in front of my kids. He didn't care. He started beating me up, maybe from there on once a week, every other day. My name stopped being Anna. It started being bitch. I didn't hear him call me by my name for many years after that. I felt like I was worthless. I felt like that everything I was receiving is because I deserved it. And because I didn't know any other way of living, I felt like, okay, he loves me. This is why he hits me. Oh, he'll be remorseful. I'll help him change. He'll change.
Yeah, funny that you say that. A lot of us women, when somebody hurt us, our man, our significant other, oh, he will change. Things will get better. He really sorry. Or maybe we could change it, and we don't realize we cannot change somebody that doesn't want to be changed. The change has. They're going to want it. Now, you said that the first time when he did the first thing that is back and you looked at like an alien the next day, you said you forgave him. But he continued to do it. You forgave him because you thought he could change. You forgave him because of financial situations as well, as you expressed. But why? Then you say it went on for years that he called you the B word instead of your name. You say, well, for years that he used to hit you every week and then every day. Why made you stay then? If I don't recall correctly, you had Section A already.
Yes.
So you was getting some aid.
Right.
Why made you stay? I want you to take me to your train of thought because I don't know myself. I'm still seeking as to why we stayed because I stood.
Right. Well, first thing they do when the abuser, before physical abuse they start molding you to think that you need me. You would never be nothing without me.
Oh, yeah.
You have everything you have besides your Section 8 because of me. Who's going to want you? You're so ugly. You're fat. You need to be, thank God that you with somebody like me that will deal with you and your bastard kids. And this was an ongoing situation for many years. So when you hear the same record over and over
You started
playing,
to believe it.
you start to believe it. You
Yes.
start to believe I'm unworthy.
Yes.
He would come after he would beat me up and pay me, give me money, go to the beauty salon, get your hair done. Here's some money, get your nails done. Here's a couple of $200, $300, buy the kids some clothes, and
But this wasn't his kids.
this wasn't his kids.
Was he ever abusive towards the kids?
Not in the beginning. The beginning was towards me. There was a time that about 3-4 years into the relationship, the movie Enough came out with Jennifer Lopez. One of my good friends told me, girl, you got to come and watch this movie. She knew that what I was going through. Me and her saw the movie. She said, you don't need to go through this. You're better than that. Think about your kids.
Amen.
I was very depressed. I was later diagnosed with bipolar and borderline personality disorder. And I was put on medication. So on top of the physical abuse, I now had to deal with mental abuse. The mental abuse started,
That, to me, it's really the worst.
the mental sickness already occurred since childhood. I was already diagnosed with bipolar because I was trying to commit suicide 7, 8 years old. But the borderline personality sort of kicked in around my mid-20s. Um, when you feel such an intensity of an emotion, you don't know how to vent it. So I started fighting him back. I thought I was badass. I said, "Now I'm gonna put him in his place. I'm gonna beat him up. I'm gonna get him back for everything he's done to me. Now he's gonna come at me." And I felt like I was invisible, that I can control the situation. Um,
You see what you say there? You saw the movie enough, and you felt badass.
I felt
you felt you
powerful.
could do it, and this is exactly why I do this.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who's out there, and again, I want to thank you so much, because you don't know who's out there that right now is looking at and hearing you and be like, you know what? I am better. I'm gonna do. I had
Exactly.
enough, and again, I can't thank you enough. I just wanted to put that post there. We'll continue.
There was a backlash for me thinking I was badass. There was a backlash, and the backlash was my children.
Yes, absolutely.
I would go to work and go to school. I was trying to get my GED. I had gotten an order of protection against him. I felt like, okay, I'm trying to little by little get control of my life. He started coming in through the fire escape of my apartment. When my son used to be in after school. My daughter was in junior high school, and he would come in and he would sexually rape my daughter. This happened for a 2-year period.
Let me ask you, did your daughter ever came to you and told you what he was doing? Or she kept it to herself? Or,
We were
Take
going
me
to
to
family therapy, and one session of the family therapy, she told the therapist, if I tell my mom what's really going on, I'm afraid she's going to commit suicide, so I don't say anything. And I guess that should have been a red flag for us to know that something deeper was going on.
yes.
I had an open ACS case. ACS was in my house. I had got him arrested.
Yeah, that's why. And let me ask you something. I know and I just want to go on to the ACS case. I know when I called, when you call for domestic violence and you get an order of protection, an ACS case is open right away. Is that how you got ACS as well?
Yes, Safe
Okay.
Horizons got involved, and when Safe Horizons got involved, ACS got involved.
Okay.
When ACS got involved, it opened a whole can of worms. Things that were, I found out at the end of all this, the reason why he was beating me more was to hide the fact of what he was doing to my daughter in darkness. So the more he would beat me, the more consumed I was in my physical and mental turmoil, the less attention I was paying to my children. So he became a predator. A predator that took advantage and took the innocence of my daughter that she would never get back again. One day my daughter started running away around 13 years old. She started running away, and she got caught shoplifting nail polish from Walgreens in Manhattan, and they called me from the courts that I had to show up in juvenile and family court the next day to get her.
Take your time.
I didn't know what was going on. I think everything was so dark. When my daughter ran away the second time, we couldn't find her. I had called the cops and put a police missing persons report. My brother actually found my daughter sleeping in her stairway, and she told him what was going on, that she was being raped by this guy.
Okay, good.
that's when they ended up going to the police and they put a police report against him for rape, plus the domestic violence, everything that was going on. My daughter was so scared to testify against him, they only gave him 4-year sentence, and he only did 2, with 2 years probation. He was not charged as a sex offender because they needed my daughter's testimony.
And she was scared. I mean,
So he only served time for domestic violence.
are you kidding me?
When he came out of prison, I was already in a new relationship
With Peter.
with Peter, and I started receiving threatening phone calls. He would come to my house in the middle of the night and ring the doorbell. At one point,
Do
Peter,
you still have an order of protection against him? And when he was released, were you informed?
yes, I was informed by the district attorney's office. When
Do you have an order of protection now against him?
I think it's gonna be over in 2018.
Okay.
The order of protection will be
Which is a
will be
paper,
done.
but it really
Yeah,
doesn't
it'll
do
be
much.
it'll be over with at 2018. But I lost my children in the process. ACS removed my children from the household. I lost my Section 8. I became homeless. I lost my job. I didn't finish my GED. I became into worse psychosis of depression. I tried to commit suicide right after my kids got removed. I was in intensive care in Jamaica Hospital. I tried to commit suicide several times after. I did seek medical attention. Currently, I'm on medication. I have to see a psychiatrist.
And where is your daughter now?
My daughter right now, she's missing.
How old is she right now?
She's 19.
Okay.
And we don't know where she is right now. My daughter became a drug addict, also bipolar and borderline personality disorder, also in and out mental institutions. After the rape, she told us that he did everything to her, took everything from her. I have her journal for when that time was going on. And one page was full of eyes, dark eyes. And she wrote in the bottom of the page, if they can only see. And now I know why.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some time because we almost running out of time. So I'm gonna give you some time to put yourself together. And Peter, which is your husband, déjame preguntarte algo, mi amor. This part of the interview will be in Spanish as it is his language of preference. Peter, cuando tú te juntaste con ella, ya tuviste una relación, ¿qué tan difícil fue para ti?
Muy difícil,
¿Por qué?
porque a cada momento estaba llamando, gritando.
¿Ella o él? Ella gritando en el sueño, explícate mejor.
No, gritando, peleando, que donde yo estaba, todo.
Oh, contigo. O sea, que a ti te gritaba, a ti.
Sí.
Yo estaba descontrolada, yo no confiaba en él. No confiaba en él y a no confiar en él lo maltrataba.
Okay. ¿Y ahora?
Ahora no, ahora la cosa ya cambió. Yo le dije que tenía que controlar eso, si no yo no iba a estar con ella. Porque es difícil para mí y para cualquier persona.
Como hombre al fin.
Sí,
Pero te quiero decir que realmente te agradezco mucho que ahora seas el pilar de ella, que sea la persona que...
y siempre la voy a apoyar en todo lo que haga. Siempre le voy a dar, ya sabe, yo le he dicho a ella que si algún día yo por cualquier razón no estoy allá o lo que sea, ella siempre puede contar conmigo. Y yo siempre voy a estar con ella. Nadie ha podido nosotros separarnos. Hemos luchado
¿Qué tiempo
juntos
tienen ya juntos?
7 años.
Qué bueno.
Hemos luchado contra todo obstáculo, contra toda persona. Y ahí estamos. Adelante.
Qué bueno. Entonces, gracias a Dios, you have the love that you always wanted.
Yeah.
The love that you didn't get from your parents. The love that you didn't get from anybody. You got the love you wanted. And I'm really happy for you.
Yes.
Well, this is our time. Unfortunately, we're probably going to see Anna again. But for now, we have to say goodbye. To you out there that are watching this show, please seek the strength from within. You can look me up at the GNNproject.org, where I have another platform where you can anonymously post what you're going through. You could email us at the GNNproject@gmail.com, or you could email me personally, Gigi, that will be GIGIB235 @gmail.com. If you want to be a guest to our story, if you're within the Bronx, you could be anonymously. If you outside of the Bronx, because in our channel, the YouTube channel, which is Giselle Bria, we could do it via FaceTime. If you're ready to share your story and bring awareness to others, count us in. This is your platform. This is your show. Please don't forget to love yourself. What goes on around you has nothing to do with you. Sometimes people have their own demons that they're battling and unfortunately taking it out on the weakest one. Have a good one. See you next time. Thank you.